Good afternoon, good evening, good night, everyone. Thank you very much for coming and joining our global DataTribe community Ask Me Anything event. We're still expecting probably a few people to join us. As we've had loads of sign-ups, when we've got 53 people on the call at the moment. Rather than wait for everyone, let's kick off. Please note we are recording the session and it will be available on our YouTube channel after the call. So if you do join late, or if people join late, they can catch up. Thank you for everyone who has been posting in the chat from where you're from, when you're joining us from. We can see people from right across the world, which is amazing. Thank you so much for giving up your time to join us tonight. I hope you find tonight's session valuable. Yes, please note that at any time, it said this is an Ask Me Anything event. So if you have any comments, questions, please do raise them in the chat and we will try and get as many of your questions answered tonight. If you are not comfortable being recorded, then please do feel free to switch off your cameras. If I could ask people to keep themselves muted whilst other people are talking, that would be great. And if you have any suggestions on how we can improve our events, not just this one, but any future events that you join, then feel free to give us your feedback, because we are always looking to improve your experience. Cool. Can I have the next slide, please? Thank you. So just a very generic agenda. So obviously, for those who don't know me, my name is Will. I am part of the DataTribe community, one of the organisers based in London, UK. I'm just going to be kicking off through the welcome today, as said, and be shortly we're going into introductions, and Santani will take us through those with the event format. Please note that we do have the facility for breakout rooms, so if there are any specific topics that we want that a selection of us may want answered, then we will be able to spin out a breakout room for you. More details on this coming up. So hopefully, please. Should probably point out that please note these timings are are not guaranteed. They're a little bit rough, but we will do our best to stick to them. So we do intend to have a panel session for, where you can literally ask the panel anything. We should try and get in a good 40-45 minutes of time before we have to wrap up. So without further ado, let's get everyone introduced. Cool. So for those who are part of the DataTribe community, some of these faces may appear familiar to you. If you're new to the CRM Analytics and the community, or if you're from, potentially you're from the Tableau community, then you may not. You may wish to connect with the people you see on screen. So we have joining us from Chicago and from Paris, we have Santani and Kevin. We also have Arnab, who is unfortunately unable to join us today, but he is running the community over in Canada. Santani, do you want to give yourself a quick intro?
Yep. I am a CRM Analytics and Tableau ambassador, and I run the Chicago DataTribe and also do some blogs on Medium on CRM Analytics. I work for Conservice. It's a utility data company located in Utah, though I'm located in Chicago. Kevin?
Yep. On my side, I've been working at Accenture for 4 years and CRM Analytics for over 3 years now. I initiated the French DataTribe, where we organize meetups, but we speak French mostly during those calls, on some exceptions. But really happy anyway to be joining you today, and I'm also a CRM Analytics ambassador.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys. Just for those who, just for everyone's attention, said we have joining us on the call, myself, Manny, Inez, and Matt, who are part of the London DataTribe team. So if you're based sort of in the UK, then feel and have some questions, want to get involved with the community, please reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to help. Cool. And yeah, for those who like to engage on social media, as said, please find a whole raft of Twitter handles for the team, for our communities, and for the for the Trailblazer and DataTribe community as a whole. Feel free to feel free to take a snapshot of what you see on screen. Use our Twitter handles. Shout out, spread the word. The more people you get involved, using the hashtags and using the handles, the wider the conversation spreads. And these are all handles that are picked up by the marketing teams for their various marketing activities and calculating reach. And as I say, it generates data for them to analyze, which is a fun subject.
So I will give Arnab's introduction. He did say he's having some issues. Arnab is trying to start the DataTribe in Canada, and the only thing he's looking for right now before he starts any meetings is how many people would be interested for a DataTribe in Canada for CRM Analytics. So raise your hands, contact Arnab if you are interested, and he will get it started.
Thank you, Santani. Thank you, Anana. Good to see you. Cool. So thank you, everyone. Let's jump straight into the Ask Me Anything. So firstly, who is going to be on the panel? We are absolutely delighted to have with us Geoff, Kathryn, and Larissa, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you, and then we'll kick straight in.
This is who I get to roast.
Yeah, was that Jen? That had to have been Jen. That's.
If you all are prepared, I have a list of questions.
Oh no, exactly. Well, we were looking at all the questions for the intro of what you all had, and I'm like, okay, I could tell the people who are really technical, and I'm like, okay, well, let's answer them after the question, because maybe only like 20% of the people on the call, depending on like how deep of a dive it is, will know that answer, and we'll be just sitting there debating like API call semantics. So we'll try to keep this as high level as possible so we can keep everybody engaged. My name is Geoff Rothman. I've been at Salesforce 10 years, which internally we call it COA Club. I love this company. I stalked it, and I was going to keep stalking Salesforce until they let me work for them. I didn't care if I had to interview 6,000 times. It was going to happen eventually. So I got in 10 years ago, and I've done different roles. I was an SE, and then I was as part of our internal solution engineer and PMO. Then I moved over to practice director role with what used to be the ASG team, and it's now called the Olympus team. And I'd say the best way to explain our team is we're kind of like, if you all have seen in the US a TV show called Scandal, we're like a SWAT team. So Olivia Pope and company, if we can't figure out in pre-sales or post-sales, our team works with the devs and the product managers directly to try to resolve things. So specifically, the person who did this role before me for enablement with academies was Ziad, which a lot of you all know. So I took that role over and have a couple of other outbound PM roles as well, like with used to be Salesforce Data Pipelines. Now we moved over into the Genie Data Pipelines team. So I'm excited to be with you all today. Obviously, I'm excited about analytics, ETL, all the above, technology in general, and I am Chicago-based here in the West Loop.
Cool. Thank you, Geoff, for that lovely, concise introduction. Kathryn.
Yeah, Kathryn Baker-Parks. I'm also at Salesforce. I'm an analytics technical architect. I've been with Salesforce for about 2 years now, and before that, I was in the Salesforce ecosystem as a consultant. Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. My focus is on CRM Analytics and also Tableau.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And last but definitely not least, Larissa.
Ooh, just
there you go.
I'm
Perfect.
here. Just in the nick of time. So I'm gonna I'm taking this to my phone because my power and internet at my house just went out. So hi everyone. Larissa, I think I'm okay. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, it sounds great.
Okay, awesome. Larissa, I used Tableau about 9 years ago, and now I'm part of Salesforce and the broader it's cutting out a bit. Sorry. Yeah, just really excited to be here, engage in the conversation. I know we have so much opportunity for bringing Tableau and CRM Analytics community and all of the different communities together. So just really excited to be here and join the conversation.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Excellent. Cool. So thanks everyone. Yeah, I'll leave the professionals to introduce this slide.
So this is everyone's favorite slide from Salesforce, since we are going to be talking about vision today for different products. We want to make sure that you all know to purchase it based on existing functionality and not anything in the future that we speculate about or rumor about. Just kidding, we won't rumor, but just in case we do accidentally, hypothetically, this is the slide we're supposed to read so that we're okay legally. The end.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you, Geoff. So look, there may be lots of you submitted questions up front, so we have collated those, and we will talk about those as much as we can. But just to kind of give you, if you haven't got a sort of question in mind, Jennifer aside, you may have there may be plenty of topics that you may want to talk about. So it could be along the roadmap, it could be around Genie, it could be around Tableau, CRMA, how do they come together? It could be questions around the community or anything up there. Or maybe you're at the start of your CRMA career, and you may have some very questions about how to get started, how to get involved in the system, so in the ecosystem. So look, it's your choice. We want to hear your questions, and hopefully these little prompts give you an idea about where you want to focus your.
One thing to add to what Will just said, this is not a solutioning, so this is ask us anything, but we are not going to solution in this. So if you want solutioning, contact Geoff or Kathryn or Larissa after this.
Wait, what?
Or anyone else.
Contact Sayantani.
Or ask the community.
Well, better yet, ask on the Slack workspace, the community workspace that Larissa's going to talk about.
Yeah, I'll put the link here and we'll send it to you.
I volunteer, Kathryn, to go first on just CRMA vision, that kind of stuff.
We do have a slide for that. So I think this, what is the vision for CRM Analytics or Salesforce Analytics in general, was one of the top questions that we got from the people that signed up. And we, I heard a laugh.
Who's ready for that question?
I knew that was Jen laughing.
In all transparency, we are prohibited from providing like technical deep dive answers on this question. I just want to be like 100% straight up and transparent. But I really love this slide because I think overall it gives a good idea of where we are going analytics wise in the future. And that's pretty much because it breaks down at 3 broad themes that where we continue to innovate across the analytics portfolio. And now this is going to include Tableau and CRM Analytics. And both products are continuing to have enhancements, new features, as you can see in the latest the spring 23 release for CRMA and other release notes for Tableau. This is what we're going to focus on. So analytics made easy, making it easier for you to have AI augmented experiences within every interaction so that you can make those better decisions. We want to make AI available to everyone who's not a data scientist or even advanced analyst. And so you'll see future enhancements along that route with AI, also made relevant. So we saw last year revenue intelligence, and this is a big focus for us going forward. And I know for you CRMA experts, you know about the analytics apps, but we're going to see even more of that in the future. Here I am trying to be a little bit ambiguous, but more embedded within the flow of work, kind of like revenue intelligence, essentially. So you can see those best practice analytics and workflows, and then analytics made actionable. So CRM analytics in particular, keeping that in the flow of work so that you can take action and take action easier, and give you a little bit more ways to take action. I feel like I'm saying action. I'm trying not to be specific. I want to keep it a little ambiguous. And where a lot of this comes into play is with Salesforce Genie, or whatever the newest rebranding of Genie is, as it seems to change name frequently. And I know Geoff has some thoughts about Genie.
Salesforce changed their product names? Never known
Yeah,
that to happen.
All right, here we've got one. So yeah, as Kathryn's going through this, please put the questions like on the fly in there while she's kind of talking about that. Let's see what James has.
Oh, wait, and someone asked about revenue intelligence trail. There's some really good, for our partners specifically, there's some really good revenue intelligence enablement. But then there is, I think, if it's not already out there, I think there is going to be a revenue intelligence trailhead or module or one of those learning tools.
All right. And wait. Okay, Jen's talking about the marketing rebranding. Well, I tell you what, like it's hard to control. Like, you know, what you all think is usually probably what employees think. It's control at such a higher pay band. I even took a LinkedIn poll last time when we went from Einstein Analytics to CRM Analytics, and my push failed miserably. So I really don't think that. I think there might be like 3 or 4 people. It's like they get together, all the data is collected, and then boom. And I'm sure it has something to do with stock market, stock prices, and blah blah blah. And as part of the consideration. So it's a lot bigger and probably scarier than I even want to know about.
Yeah, I'm speaking on behalf of everybody here. And Kathryn, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to hassle you on here. This is just my job for comedic relief, right? For the audience here, being the old timer. So here's my scenario. And this is, I mean, I understand you can only answer so much of it. Right before Christmas, I was told my job was going to be eliminated because my higher ups thought that Tableau and Genie in real time was it, and Einstein is going away. So they were like, you're not gonna have a job in 30 days. This is a real story I'm telling you guys from like where I sit. And I'm like, what? It's not going away, because they don't understand what they're being told by their sales reps. So when I explain that CRMA is advanced Salesforce reporting, it's not going away. It's just not Einstein anymore. They were like, okay, well, you can stay, but you're going to go to the Salesforce team because that's Salesforce. So I'm not going to give you any more examples than that. I'm in the middle of this right now, trying to explain to my higher ups that it's rebranding, it's not new products. It's all coming together, but nobody seems to want to talk about this, right? Like, we all know because we're friends here, we're all data people, but the public doesn't know. They think there's new products. So what's your answer to this?
Yeah. I think for me, we've struggled with that a lot. And Larissa might have something, to add here, because branding wise, even, when Tableau joined forces and when we acquired Tableau on the Salesforce side, just the branding alone became so hard to distinguish between the two. And it cost, back when I was in SE, it caused so much confusion in the field. I spent the first 10 minutes of literally every sales call just explain to them that that analytics was needed kind of in their environment, and the whole concept of exploring data. They're like, wait, what? You can do something besides, look at it in Excel and do tables off that. The second thing was then, okay, well, we've got these two softwares out there, and kind of, talking about the differences between them.
Is there a cheat sheet? I saw Kathryn made something like that on LinkedIn a while back, or maybe a couple weeks ago. A little cheat sheet of what all these areas actually are would be fantastic. And I know Salesforce marketing, and I'll let you go to the next question after this, because we could spend 2 hours on this topic. But I would like to know where there's a cheat sheet so we can solve the problem. How about that?
Yeah.
Or a presentation?
I'll chime in really quick. I'm happy to take that feedback to Salesforce marketing. I think it's really fair feedback, and I love the idea of a cheat sheet, which would just kind of boil it down. What do you need to know? What's what? So I'm happy to take that feedback. It's not something I own. I'm not the, wouldn't be the person to own and deliver on that, but I'd be happy to bring that feedback to the team.
Yeah, and it's not just me. I have lots of people in the industry that are coming to me that they're saying, is it Tableau? Is it Einstein? Is it the symbol formerly known as Wave, Genie, data pipelines?
That's confusion.
We need something to give our higher ups who are non-technical to understand which product goes with what and what we actually do. I mean, we're a bridge. They need us right now more than ever. So I need something to get that across to my higher ups, because if I go, or anybody in this community, is not being that bridge from Salesforce to these products. What about security and Tableau? There's so many things that they need us for, and that's what we need your help. If you could take that feedback for, and I'm speaking on behalf of everybody here, because I know we all have our own private situations we're going through with this.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I think your situation is unique. Obviously you're getting a very specific situation, but I think you're right. There's just a general confusion. And so that's the feedback, and that there's confusion and opportunity for clarity. So yeah, I'm absolutely happy to take that.
Yeah, I think that I think when it causes so much confusion that literally eliminates a business unit, that's extremely concerning. So yeah, and I just out of curiosity, did that happen? If you put in the chat, did anything similar happen to any of you on the call? If so, please go ahead and put that in the chat room.
And I want the Tableau people to speak up here, because I'm getting it from that side too, where the Tableau people are saying, well, you better learn Einstein, even though Tableau is going to be brought in. So, I want anybody on here who is experiencing that to tell your fears, because we need to stomp this out right now.
Yeah. One thing I did put over there, if you just in a few sentences up on the blog, I think Ricky or someone, I didn't look to see who did it. I knew it was done, but Ricky blog out there on the differences between CRMA, operational analytics, and then Tableau. She put it out there in that link above there. So,
Geoff, talking about operational reports, there's a question from Juan. If CRMA is advanced Salesforce reporting, will license be free? In the orgs we have at my firm, Salesforce reports no longer work due to the size of the data and its complexity. If we want more inclusion and usage of CRMA, would there be a possibility of reducing prices for licenses?
I think so. This is just my opinion and guess. I'm literally not. This hasn't been talked about, but if you kind of see the evolution of Salesforce reporting and CRMA since 2014 on, you can kind of see even this last release. I don't know if you all noticed this. This is huge, but Salesforce reporting dashboards, you can add more filters on it. Remember, you were limited to, I think, 2 or 3 filters. Oh my gosh! In this last move, it made a huge difference. So in my opinion, things like you used to have to pay extra for, there are 2 or 3 different licenses that you can literally get rid of now that you had to pay extra for with Salesforce operational reporting. So will they eventually converge? I don't think they'll completely converge because it's the difference between transactional reporting and analytical reporting. Like, OLAP back in the day, OLTP versus OLAP. Transactional, you want that immediately. Like when you click on that refresh the reporter dashboard, you want it right then. Whereas, if you're doing a data flow recipe, you've got to have that data sync happen. And the reason is because of the volume of data. It's physically impossible to push petabytes of data, or terabytes, very quickly, across any kind of pipe. So depending on how large the need is, there needs to be a little bit of a difference. So I think from a licensing perspective, CRMA, I think if you look at that comparison of analytics tools there, that's going to give you enough of a difference on the technical side of the house to be able to kind of explain why we think they're different, and why it is an extra license cost. And let me. Someone was going to say something. While you do that, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste specifically the CRMA versus operational reporting link.
Yep. Okay, so while Geoff is sending that out, there's a question from James. Can you get compare tables? And Kathryn, you might be the best person to answer this. Can you get compare tables to mirror full functionality of Excel pivot tables, including nesting of hierarchical dimensions across the top? If this cannot be done, what are the CRMA best practices to mirror that functionality without having manually SQL everything? So James has given a few sample cases: customer dimensions down left column, product sub-product dimensions across top, measures in some sales.
There are some enhancements to those that want to view in more of a table type format in Spring. Whether or not it will replicate exactly what you'll be able to find in Excel. I mean, we're making enhancements, but that is a different type of analytical analysis, and a little bit different from our primary focus in CRM Analytics. But I don't have a list of every single pivot table capability in my brain right now to compare against what's in CRMA, but there were definitely enhancements in the latest release.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say enhancements to the built-in pivot table, or to the compare tables themselves. Okay.
To pivot tables, yeah.
Okay.
And if you, I'll paste the link in here, to go to the release notes there that talks about that.
And I thought there were some enhancements to the new compact query structure that allowed some additional capabilities.
It does.
Oh, it blew open the
Yes.
door to like a world of feature requests. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So I don't know if anyone watched the hour before this or 2 hours before this. There was a What's New in CRM Analytics webinar. What's new for Spring 23. We can probably find that link once it's recorded and share that. But I think you'll be really impressed with some of those features.
So moving on to the next question. Isaac, I'm not taking your question because it was the same thing that Jen asked about Tableau and CRMA being standalone, or will they join together? But Virgil, your question was on, can we have auto formatting of number in compared table the same way the options exists on charts? I did not find any easy solution for that. So my guess is, this is you can just do formatting for numbers because number formatting exists in the in CRM lenses now, so you can do it there. But if you're looking for a big number turning into millions and K, M, K, or those kind of things, I don't think that's there. Let's move on to Jeannie, and then we'll come back to the rest of the questions, and you can keep typing your questions meanwhile.
Absolutely. So what you all heard, a lot of you all had questions on, what is Jeannie? where does Tableau and CRMA, where do they fit into this Genie platform? Is Genie just CDP? What is Genie and why should we care? So this is going to be, in a nutshell, this is going to be very high level, but right now, what it did was they realized that kind of the benefits that CDP had, or the data platform had, in being able to, you have data coming in from everywhere, all different kinds of connectors. As you can see on the left-hand side, it's not just Marketing Cloud. You've got, sorry, here we go. Let me go back to this. I was trying to turn on my pointer. Here on the left-hand side, you've got them all from all the Salesforce products in general, but third-party cloud storage, the different substrates, AWS, GCP, Azure. You've got data coming in from everywhere. And the definition of a customer or an end user or contact is completely different on every platform. And it's been really confusing to get everything kind of united, that whole customer 360 vision that we talked about like 4 or 5 years ago. So they did it on the B2C side. And what they realized, Genie, in my opinion, is literally going to bring that B2C and B2B to combine that into kind of one data repository. So you've got this gigantic, data lake house in the background with all of this data on the left-hand side. And, bringing that data, we're still going to have all the connectors that we've got that you all are familiar with CRMA. I mean, eventually we're going to be able to, we're looking at different strategies for how to use the connectors from Tableau and MuleSoft strategically here. And we do realize that, there's two different situations there. There's cloud sources connectors and then on-prem connectors. And typically we point people to use MuleSoft, for any kind of on-prem. I mean, I know Tableau has a couple of bridge solutions for that as well. So that's not going to be lost. We're not going to just be, cloud data sources only on that left-hand side. But if you can think of from like an end-to-end process, on the left-hand side, we've got bringing the data into to the Genie, data lakehouse, so the Genie repository, all the way across to, the evolution of that data coming in to where we take action on it. That's really what this slide, that's the point of this slide. And it's really I'd say our vision for Genie in general and the entire, CRM platform is to get all of this data. And the difference between this first part, the ingestion, is you bring in, like, I don't want to get too detailed, but, if you all heard of Hadoop before, data lakes, they've been out for quite some time now. The thought behind that is bring the data from its different sources in its original format. So if you've got data in CSV format, bring that in there. Don't transform it just yet. If you've got something else in JSON format, bring that data in its original, format. If it's a relational database, bring that in there. Store everything in its original format here on this. Something keeps changing. Sorry, let me go back to the slide deck. On this left-hand side, just get it into this repository, all the data in one place. One thing that's different with Genie is a lot of times people don't want to duplicate their data. They've decided, hey, I want this in Snowflake or Azure or AWS S3 buckets. Well, now with Genie, we've got proprietary, long story short, in the back end, there's something called Apache Iceberg technology that we've been using heavily. And then combine that with zero copy technology that we've worked specifically with vendors on. By the way, this is public information that's kind of, that was lightly mentioned in the news. We've worked, with AWS and Snowflake to be able to have all of that data that's in your, in the different data warehouses on the cloud side, and have that accessible in Genie without having to literally copy that whole data. Like you do in data flow recipes, you're bringing the data over from Salesforce to the cache. We call it zero copy technology. That's a big difference. And this is not, I would tell you, this is not just, rebranding. I wrote an entire thing internally, like why Genie is unique technology. In essence, if you go down here, we've added that real-time technology to Apache Iceberg. We're committing to that source code. We've influenced Apache Iceberg, instead of being batch by nature, to be streaming first. Now, and this is going to be really technical, but instead of having two different tiers for data, the storage tier and the metadata tier, we brought all that metadata about all the files down to the storage tier. So when you have a query engine, it just goes to one place and it's got everything there. It's going to be a lot faster and more robust. So it's not, I've been here 10 years. We are guilty of repackaging and rebranding to come up with a new solution. This is anything but that. And you all that know me, that when I was in an SE, I call it how it is. If it's a rebranding, I'll tell you that. Like Jen knows, everybody here that knows me knows I don't play around with that stuff. This is new technology. So as it's going through its different states on the data sources side, you bring that in, and that's called just, called bronze state. And then we've got, kind of here we think of it as like that silver state of data where we have that batch streaming and ingestion capability to allow it to scale. If you think about that, that's where you all are familiar with data prep and recipes. We're literally using that not only in CRM Analytics, but we're also using that on the Genie side. And that's really why the team I'm on got moved over to Genie, was for that. I think of it kind of like an ETL layer, but it's a lot more than that. But being able to take what used to be SQL transforms inside CDP, and then having that the analytics UI on top of that for data prep is going to be amazing. The difference is, and then you get to the next stage. So after we've done basic ETL, getting that data harmonized. So having the rules, both manual rules and AI-based rules that take the definition of customers from the different repositories and unify them all in one place and do that for you automatically. That's really what we mean by shaping that data. Users are called something different in every repository. We want to unify that in the harmonized phase. And then you've got kind of like getting the data clean, but really the unification phases. You've got Geoff Rothman surfing on my mobile phone in an anonymous browser, maybe, of I want to buy these shoes, or I want to do X, Y, or Z. And then you've got me on my desktop. I've actually got 25 devices. Don't judge. You all probably have 10 or 15. But there's different identities of me based on my and they don't all get united until I put an email address in there, and then it links everything too. But getting all those different identities and profiles unified is a huge part of this stage. And then the part that we care about, that's really important to us that we want to push is then after that data gets unified and you've got that single source of truth here, that's where Tableau, CRM Analytics, that's where external BI tools, that's where Einstein Discovery is able to then act on that data once it's been, let's just call it cleaned for lack of a better word. And then, of course, the last piece of that is actions, because if we don't put actions on top of this, we're literally repeating all the sins of the BI 80s and 90s. We don't want to go back. We can't go backwards. So apps and actions, flows, as this data, when the data changes the value here, we want to, kick off another process and automate our life. So in short, that's really what Genie does from left to right. And I'll kind of pause there because I know we've got about 9 minutes left. And in fact, why don't we go ahead and do this? Larissa, let's go back to your slide, and I'll take some of any Genie questions in the chat room. All right, Larissa.
Did you just want me to hit on? I mean, I can just hit on community overall. I know that there were some questions that came in advance of the call. Just kind of curious to understand, what is the CRM Analytics community? How is it different than Tableau community and Salesforce community? Kind of understanding all of this together. What I would share here is that community is going to have a lot of like every broader community is going to have a lot of individual, unique, kind of specialized communities within that, and that's kind of how I view these different communities. CRM Analytics, Tableau community, each in their own are unique and special, but there's also like one common thread is a love of data and analytics. So how do we kind of think about opportunities to share that passion, share best practices across just overall, like looking, preparing data and reading, like data literacy and thinking about kind of some of those areas there. So there are different communities that you can get involved in. And what I wanted to put up on this slide is specific to CRM Analytics. So if you are from kind of the Tableau community on this call, thanks for joining. I know some of you have asked, like, how do I get involved and learn more about CRM Analytics? If you're new to just CRM Analytics overall or curious to learn more about it, community is a great way to get exposed to that. So there's quite a few ways to get involved. So first one is Trailhead. So if you actually want to better understand the product, what the opportunities are, get on Trailhead, explore CRM Analytics there. There's a Trailblazer community group, which is almost 70,000. There's just shy of 70,000 community members that have come together to really kind of share their love of CRM Analytics. There's the DataTribe Slack workspace. I think somebody may have put it in the chat already, or did maybe earlier. If not, maybe could add that now. And then there's also some great community-led projects. So this Workout Wednesday is what I've highlighted here. Workout Wednesday was started actually by some Tableau community leaders ages ago. And but it's not just specific to Tableau. It's really just looking at data and analytics and visualization. And they have a project going on right now that is specific to CRM Analytics, which is pretty awesome to see how the communities are coming together and sharing some of these opportunities. And just at the top, I added, we pulled these things, as well as there's so many amazing resources that have come out of the group that you see here, out of the broader community. And we've been pulling those onto a single web page. So you can kind of, how to get started with the CRM Analytics community. So I recommend checking it out. And yeah, you can always reach out to me directly if you have questions or ideas, or just want to chat anything data and community. I would love to connect with you.
Perfect. And one thing I'll do too is, if for those of you that can stay on after, I'll stay on and I'll answer questions, or we can collate them and get back with each one of you on that. All right, Will.
Cool. Thank you, everyone. This has been absolutely awesome. We still have 1 or 2 minutes left. So I'm just trying to get a time check. Yes, we have literally 5 minutes left. So,
Phil, there's one question I would like Geoff or Kathryn to answer. It's from Pat. Can you use multi-dimensions to bind results from one query to another query that has multiple binding options? This would be for filters in advanced query. It's a very, very common request.
Let me see. Is that up at the top? Let's see.
Yes, it's from Pat Garza.
It's not going to let me search what we do is we'll get back. Tiny.
Sure, we'll get back, but yeah.
Okay.
I wonder, is there a way to get all the questions that we weren't able to get to, because the chat screen's just kind of scrolling every time I try and read it, and I get lost. And then maybe we can follow up or something.
I have already made a note of it with who's sending the questions, so yes.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it's going to be a bit of an apology that we haven't got round to answering every single question tonight. There have been so many. So, really thank you everyone for brilliant engagement. And yes, your curiosity and your passion for the products really inspires us. Well, certainly from a community leader perspective, and I'm sure from those who work at Salesforce and at Tableau, we love to have that engagement. The community is a great way to get some questions answered. It's a great way to get your get stuff actioned, as we saw earlier. So if CRM Analytics, Genie, Salesforce, or any area of Salesforce is your passion, please do get involved in the community. It is such a wonderful place. It's a wonderful thing to be part of.